Time is a witness to the rise and fall of the greatest empires in history. Babylon, Assyria, Egypt. They all, at some point, rose majestically but inevitably fell into ruins. And last but not least, the Persian Empire entered that list. Regardless of the size of their armies or the skill of their leaders, all these empires shared a sad truth: their ultimate decline. History has shown us that one of the reasons for this tragic outcome was the immense size of these empires. They simply grew beyond control, becoming vulnerable to both external and internal forces. However, there is one empire that stands out as one of the greatest and most impressive of all time: the Roman Empire. Over the centuries, this small Italian city expanded, dominating lands across Europe, the Balkans, the Middle East, and Northern Africa. Welcome to the History Explorer channel. Get ready to dive into the depths of history and uncover the secrets of one of the greatest empires the world has ever known. Today, we bring you the exciting story of the origins and rise of the Roman Empire. In the depths of the Italian peninsula, a brave and fearless people rose from the ashes to conquer the world. They were the Romans, a civilization that would leave an indelible mark on human history. In the 8th century BC, a small city called Rome emerged on the banks of the Tiber River. Over time, it grew and became a center of power in the region. The Romans were tireless builders and visionaries. They transformed a simple village into a majestic city, with grand temples, impressive forums, and ingenious aqueducts. But before we continue our journey through the history of the Roman Empire, I would like to share some links in the video description that may be of interest to you. By purchasing some of the available products, you will be contributing to keeping this channel active and constantly evolving. Feel free to explore these links and discover products related to the theme that can enrich your historical experience. Thank you for your ongoing support. In the beginning, before the Roman Republic, the city of Rome was just a small cluster with a population of a few thousand people. But as the centuries passed and the kings were exiled, that city began to flourish. It is estimated that by the 6th century BC, Rome already housed between 20,000 and 30,000 inhabitants, and this number continued to grow. As Rome expanded, it became a magnet for artists, traders, and people from all walks of life. It was a place of opportunities, especially for those seeking work and a new life. During the imperial period, the city housed around 1 million inhabitants, and this was a source of great pride for the Roman emperor. But it wasn't just the city that grew. The empire itself also expanded, conquering lands and embracing new peoples. According to the censuses of the time, the empire grew from 4,063,000 inhabitants in 28 BC to 4,937,000 inhabitants in 14 AD. A remarkable growth in both population and territory. These gigantic numbers witnessed the power and influence of Rome. As the Emperor Augustus said in his famous Res Gestae, "I found Rome a city of bricks and left it a city of marble." These words echo not only the physical growth of the city, but also the growth of the empire in terms of people, culture, and achievements. But Rome was not content with just building. Their conquering spirit yearned for more. And so, they set out in search of lands beyond their borders. The Roman Republic expanded rapidly, annexing territories and defeating enemies. Led by skilled generals, the Romans conquered Italy, Gaul, Greece, and even Egypt. From a small city in the far west of Italy, emerged a civilization that would embrace distant lands and shape the course of history. Rome, or the Roman Empire, started humbly, but grew to encompass a vast territory, from the North Sea to the lands around the Mediterranean Sea. To the north, there were lands such as Britain, Germany, and Gaul. To the west and south, along the northern Africa, the empire included Hispania, Mauritania, and Numidia. In the Middle East, there were territories like Egypt, Judea, Syria, Parthia, and Asia Minor. Closer to Italy, there were Macedonia, Greece, Moesia, and Dacia. And we must not forget the islands like Corsica, Sardinia, and Sicily. Throughout the Roman Empire, majestic cities emerged, with populations ranging from 100,000 to 300,000 inhabitants. Alexandria, Carthage, Antioch, Pergamon, Ephesus, and Lyon were just a few of them. These cities pulsated with life, culture, and influence. But as it happened with so many empires before, the Roman Empire did not withstand the test of time. In 476 AD, it fell to an invasion from the north. The final collapse was a sad farewell to a civilization that was once so grand. To truly understand the magnitude of this great empire, we need to go back to its beginning, to the early 6th century BC. It is at this point that we find the roots of Rome and witness its meteoric rise to power. In 510 BC, something extraordinary happened in Rome. The monarchy was overthrown, and King Lucius Tarquinius Superbus was exiled. From that moment, a new era began to unfold, and Rome embarked on a path of growth and expansion that shook the entire Mediterranean. Over the following centuries, Rome continued to expand, spreading its influence throughout the region. Despite internal and external challenges, the sea became what they called the Roman Lake. The astonishing growth that began during the Republican period extended into the era of the empire, culminating in the period known as Pax Romana, a time of peace and stability. However, to achieve this immense expansion, Rome became what a historian called a warrior state. The constant presence of conflicts shaped not only Rome's wealth, but also Roman society itself. Their conquests in the Balkans and Greece influenced Roman art, architecture, literature, and philosophy. But growth would not continue indefinitely. In the end, the empire became less of a conquering force and more of a force for pacification and administration. Throughout their wars of expansion, the Romans never considered themselves aggressors. According to a historian, they believed that war was only to subdue enemies who threatened Roman integrity. After the fall of the monarchy and the establishment of the Republic, Rome had an insatiable desire for growth. Their ambition extended beyond the Seven Hills, and the conquest of all of Italy became their primary goal. But neighboring communities were not indifferent to this Roman expansion. To avoid potential conflict, they formed the Latin League. However, their fears materialized when war broke out near the city of Tusculum, on the shores of Lake Regillus. During this epic battle, legend has it that the Roman army was led to victory by the divine appearance of the twin brothers Castor and Pollux, the saviors of Helen of Troy. After the victory, Rome confiscated and plundered the lands of Latium, according to the treaty negotiated by Spurius Cassius Vessilinus in 393 BC. Additionally, the people of Latium were obligated to provide soldiers for Rome in future conflicts. The Latin alliance with Rome helped defeat many hostile neighbors such as the Sabines, Aequi, and Volsci, who constantly invaded Roman lands. Rome, in turn, retaliated and destroyed the city of Veii. Despite an invasion by the Gauls from the north in 390 BC, which nearly led to Rome's downfall, the city quickly rebuilt, fortifying its walls, and continued its conquest of the Italian peninsula. During the 4th century BC, the Samnites, a people from southeast of Rome, captured Capua, a city located in Campania, south of the capital. The people of Capua, under a treaty with Rome, sought help from the city. This sparked the Samnite Wars, a series of conflicts between Rome and the Samnites. During these conflicts, the Samnites allied with Gauls, Etruscans, and Umbrians. But Rome did not back down. Despite some defeats, the Romans refused to admit defeat. At Caudine Forks in 321 BC, the Samnites managed to win against the Romans, but that did not shake Rome's determination. They quickly regrouped and, in the end, emerged victorious in Beneventum. Around 270 BC, all of Magna Graecia, the areas along the southern coast of Italy, were annexed by Roman legions. The power of Rome continued to grow, and their gaze now turned south, towards a great city across the sea, Carthage. Fearing the Roman threat, the city of Tarentum appealed to Pyrrhus, the king of the Balkan province of Epirus. Pyrrhus, who had been aided by Tarentum in the past, promptly sent his army to southern Italy, and if you want to know what happened, don't miss the upcoming episodes of this thrilling story of Rome, where the fate of the ancient world will be decided in epic battles. Subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell to receive all updates. Get ready to dive into the grandeur of the Roman Empire, unravel its secrets, and witness its rise and fall. Join us on this exciting journey and discover how the history of Rome shaped the world we know today. Don't miss out.